I think Fondora's tougher than Boots because, Fundora has already experienced getting knocked out. And then after that, he became champion. Since he became champion, he's gotten so much better. Every fight I see, he's getting better and better. Plus, he's the tallest guy in the, not in the division, and probably the whole boxing. He's so tall, so awkward, so lanky, that's going to make it difficult for anybody.
Robert Garcia has firmly declared that Sebastian Fundora is a more dangerous fight for Vergil Ortiz Jr. than Jaron Boots Ennis, citing Fondora's relentless pressure and freakish 6'6" frame as a stylistic nightmare.
That's a mandatory already, if I'm not mistaken. So even if we already approached Mauricio, and Mauricio told me, look, whenever you guys want, I'll enforce it. But now he's got to do his mandatory that he has. After that, we could go straight into a Fondora fight, March, April of next year, somewhere in there. But if Boots fights Kelly, and then Boots says, well, I'm just one fight away from being undisputed, a unification for undisputed beats us as the mandatory. So more likely Fondora will say, well, guess what, guys? Sorry, Vergil, but I'm going to go for undisputed too. And you know what I mean? So that's going to be another year for us.
At the same time, despite acknowledging the Fondora fight as a great option, Robert Garcia has made it clear that his first choice for Ortiz is a showdown with the unified champion Ennis.
Well, that probably would, I assume if that fight were to happen, you would probably be leaning to Fondora.
I think so, yes.
So that would probably kill the opportunity for a Boots fight.
Yes. I would pick Fondora. Just too awkward, too difficult. I would pick Fondora, but that's why, look, if we have to go through all that and wait to all that to wait for all that, I think Boots, if he really feels comfortable and his team feels that they could beat Vergil, why not? We're available November. Let's do it, and then if you beat Vergil, then go after the unifications and undisputed. But in the meantime, show the world that you are better than Vergil. He won't do it.
Taking that possibility further, Garcia warns that Ennis could pursue unification opportunities after facing Kelly, creating another potential obstacle for Ortiz. He sees the situation becoming increasingly complicated if Ennis chooses to prioritize bigger championship opportunities.
If you're so sure you could beat Vergil, then fight him in November and then go unify after. Because I know I already see this going, where you unify against Kelly before the end of the year, which shouldn't even be allowed because Kelly got a big old cut. If they allow it, it's because Kelly also wants to fight. It's gonna be the biggest payday of his career, and Kelly might lose to a nobody for a lot less money. He's gonna take that chance against Boots. And then after that, Boots gonna say, well, I'm so close to being undisputed, so now I want to go against that. So that's gonna leave us 1 year waiting for that opportunity. That's never gonna come because they're gonna use those undisputed, those unifications excuses to stay away from Vergil.
With that path becoming less certain, Garcia makes it clear that Ortiz cannot afford to remain inactive while waiting for his next opportunity. With the situation at 154 becoming uncertain, his team is considering other directions. Ortiz's next move could involve moving to a different weight class.
We can't wait. Look, Vergil's not gonna, at 154, Vergil's not gonna get that title shot for at least another year. And we're gonna wait. We're not gonna wait. We move on, even though they're not title fights. They're bigger fights. They're big fights. Team Sue's a huge fight.
Yeah.
Charlo would be a huge fight.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fights at 160. There's champions that I'm pretty sure at 160 are willing to fight Vergil.
From another perspective, a boxing analyst questions Ortiz's championship resume, noting that he has yet to win a world title.
Vergil has never been a champion in his entire career. Not once has Vergil Ortiz been a champion in his career. Not once. He wasn't a champion at 147. He's not a champion at 154. And now they're talking about going to 160 and fighting Tim Tszyu, Jamel Charlo, which I love the Jamel Charlo fight, and or they're trying to get Carlos Adames. Tim Tszyu is not a champion. Jamel Charlo is not a champion at 160.
The analyst argues that Ortiz should demand the Fondora opportunity while the champion's situation remains unsettled. He sees the matchup as a chance for Ortiz to finally capture a world title at 154, while potentially setting up a bigger championship opportunity afterward. For him, Ortiz cannot afford to leave another weight class without becoming champion.
So he's saying that he heard that Jaron Ennis Josh Kelly winner, Robert Garcia, saying, is going to fight Sebastian Fundora. Well, right now, Fondora fight is not finalized. Where Armal Hadribaj, it's not finalized. So why don't you cause a scene and demand that you get the opportunity to fight Fondora as the interim champion? Demand that Armal has to step aside as Virgil fights Sebastian Fundora, and then you, if you beat Fondora, then you fight the winner of Josh Kelly versus Jaron Ennis for undisputed. How about that? But no, you're going to leave another weight class without becoming a world champion.
On the other hand, with the Ennis matchup appearing unlikely and Fondora unavailable, Chris Mannix explains that Ortiz's team is now searching for another opponent. There is growing speculation that Ortiz could make his next move at 160 pounds, opening the door to a potentially significant matchup.
Appears to be off the table. All indications, Sergio, are that Boots is going to face Josh Kelly, likely before the end of this year, in what would be a 3-belt unification fight. Sebastian Fundora, he is scheduled to go in the fall, so he is not available for Virgil Ortiz. That has left Ortiz, Golden Boy, Rick Meridian, his manager, looking for an opponent. Now, Rick Meridian was out there on social media saying that Virgil will be back in November. There have been some whispers about Virgil perhaps looking to move up to 160 pounds, where he's going to get to eventually. But there's some online chatter, Sergio, let's call it that, online chatter, that Virgil Ortiz could be looking at a fight against Jermell Charlo in November of this year. Jermell Charlo, the former undisputed champion.
That brings Charlo into the conversation, as Sergio Mora sees him as a strong alternative if the Fondora and Ennis matchups remain unavailable. He points to Charlo's experience, durability, and history at the top level as factors that could make the matchup valuable for Ortiz. For Mora, it offers another meaningful test.
He's been inactive his entire career, and he's a natural 154-pounder. And this fight takes place, I'm assuming it'll be at 160, like you just said.
No, I believe it'd be 54. I believe they would fight at, yeah, if Charlo can make 54, they would fight at 54.
Charlo's never been knocked down. He went the distance with the great Canelo Alvarez, and you know damn well that Virgil...
Charlo was knocked down by Canelo Alvarez.
He wasn't knocked out.
Down, you said. Never been knocked down.
No, he wasn't knocked out by Canelo. He's never been stopped. So I'm sure Virgil Ortiz is going to want that feather on his cap. So I like it as a promoter. I like it as a fan. They're two Texas boys. Yeah, if it's not going to be Fondora or Boots, bring it on. I like that fight.
However, Regis Prograis and Zab Judah acknowledge Charlo's experience and technical ability, but question how much his lengthy layoff could affect him against Ortiz. They see Ortiz as a far more demanding challenge than the opponents Charlo has faced recently.
We talking a 3-year layoff? Is that what we talking?
Yeah, Mel getting a little older now too, you know what I'm saying? But Mel got the skills. A young Mel, I would definitely pick him, but like Mel getting a little older.
But he got to lock in.
But he been out. How long he been out? 3 years. That's a long fucking time to be out.
Yeah. That's like Earl Spence. That's like Spence. Spence is a dog, but all that time off, that shit don't, man. That shit hard.
Exactly.
That shit catch up with you,
bro.
That shit catch up with you.
And I'm saying, and Arrow fought Tim Tszyu. He fight Virgil Ortiz. Virgil Ortiz is a whole different monster than Tim Tszyu. Virgil Ortiz is a fucking beast, bro.
100%.
Yeah, that's
he gonna bring it. Virgil gonna bring it. He gonna bring that heat.
Virgil gonna bring that shit for sure.
From a physical standpoint, the panel debates whether Charlo can still produce at his best against Ortiz. Despite his recent inactivity, they view 154 pounds as a more favorable setting for Charlo, but Ortiz's pressure and physicality could present a very different challenge.
Yo, listen, if Charlo could lock in and train hard, I think Charlo can win that fight by knockout.
I feel like Jermell always trains hard though.
Nah, that's Jermell. Jermell will lock in.
Yeah, Jermell always trains hard.
Yeah, for sure, he'll be locked in.
I think with Jermell with that Canelo fight, I think he was in his head with the size a little, and he couldn't get over it. That's why he fought that way when he fought Canelo. But at 154, you know, Jermell is still a contender. You know what I mean? He never lost his belts.
Yeah. And he got heart.
Can he beat Virgil?
He got heart, but he got to just lock
with the
in.
layoff.
Meanwhile, Chris Mannix sees a showdown with Boots as one of the biggest fights in American boxing, with fans eager to see the matchup happen. A strong performance from Ortiz in his next outing could build the momentum needed to set up that fight in 2027.
Right? Like Boots, if he gets 3 belts, that may be enough for him in the moment, at least to go on and fight against Virgil Ortiz. You know, DAZN and everybody working there is going to say, you know what, Fondora, he's good, but I want to see Virgil Boots, the biggest fight in U.S. boxing. So this is the kind of fight that if Virgil can get, and he can win, and he can look great, that would be give him a big bounce going into 2027 and set him up for that Boots fight next year.
For Robert Garcia, the stakes are even higher, as he views an Ennis-Ortiz matchup as the defining fight at 154 pounds, believing it carries far more significance than a routine return bout. He sees Ortiz as the kind of elite opponent Ennis needs to face to strengthen his claim at the weight. For Garcia, beating Ortiz would give Ennis the strongest statement yet that he belongs at the top of the division.
Boots versus Virgil is 10 times bigger.
Yeah.
10 times bigger. So if Boots really wants to prove to the world that he's the best 154, he needs to fight Virgil. And that's the fight we want next. We don't need no tune-up fight. We don't want no stay busy fight, comeback fight. No, that's the fight we want.
Roy Jones Jr. believes Ennis's occasional mistakes come from having such a broad skill set rather than from a fundamental weakness. He points to Ennis's ability to switch between offense and defense, use movement, and fight in different ways as evidence of his versatility.
When you got a bag full of stuff, you trying to put all your stuff on the table. Sometimes it's going to happen because you got so much stuff you throw on the table. Sometimes it's going to happen. And that's what Boots was doing. He got so much stuff to throw on the table. Sometimes it's going to happen. So when we got so much stuff to go through, that's going to happen sometimes. And he's one of those guys. He got so much to throw on the table that sometimes stuff going to happen because he got, if he didn't have that, if he was just I'm going to do it this way type guy, he could play that safe game and not get hit because he got that in him too. He can go in the field of shell and do what he want to do. He slips, he bobs, he does it all. He has great defense when he wants to use it. So it's like, I don't think it's a problem that got to be fixed. I think he just got to make sure he stays mentally intact because I think it's fixed already. When he fought, like I said, Stylistic is the guy that nobody else didn't want to fight.
Looking at the matchup closely, Teddy Atlas sees an intriguing clash between two confident fighters with strong physical tools and resilience. He is particularly impressed by Ortiz's ability to mix movement and boxing with his usual aggressive approach, giving him more ways to dictate the fight.
It'll be, it could be a phone booth fight. 2 good body punches, 2 confident guys, 2 guys with great heart. Look, I say this, Virgil showed me a few fights ago that he had a dimension I didn't know he had. When he was just, going through guys, knocking them out with body shots, sinking and destroying. I don't think I knew or anyone knew that he had the ability to use his legs and box and do some boxing. He showed me that dimension.
From a tactical perspective, Sean Porter draws a distinction between the two fighters' offensive approaches, particularly in how they combine quickness with their power. Ortiz tends to build his attacks around force before layering in speed, while Ennis can shift between different weapons with less hesitation.
I think it's the speed, the way that Boots uses his speed is different from the way that Ortiz. I think Ortiz has a call on his speed. You know what I mean by that?
No.
So what I mean by call on his speed, like, you have guys who are just fluidly boom, 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 boom. And then you got other guys like Ortiz, fights with a lot of power, but now I got to pull back on his power and set you up with the speed, like he has to be intentional and be selective with what he chooses to punch with. And on the other side, Boots is like water, man. He goes from the speed to the power. He goes from the left to the right.
The leverage.
He goes, he switch hits,
More athletic,
faster.
Just defense.
That stylistic difference also shapes the debate, as Andre Berto and Tim Bradley disagree over how Ennis would respond to Ortiz's power and aggression. Berto believes Ortiz could force a different response from Ennis once he starts landing clean, while Bradley remains confident in Ennis's ability to exchange and answer with his own offense.
You see him step into a ring with Ortiz.
we may see a completely different guy, especially if he gets touched.
Man, he gonna cook Ortiz. He gonna cook Ortiz just like he just got done cooking Zayas. Look, man.
But that was expected, though.
Listen to me.
You're talking about Zayas as a guy that isn't known for his punching power at all. That was
or his speed,
or
really his skills. He checks boxes at a decent level, but not at an elite level.
But the thing is that he didn't feel the pop. You got to understand that about Boots. Boots is willing to take yours to get his, and it's a trap. Right? A lot of his flows, but I'm just telling you that I know it's not always a good thing, but it works for him, and I think that he fights off of feeling.
Moreover, Timothy Bradley views the 154-pound division as a weight class packed with fighters who bring a different level of competitiveness. He highlights Ennis, Ortiz, and Fondora for their toughness, aggression, and refusal to back down, arguing that the division consistently produces high-stakes matchups. For Bradley, the combination of talent and mentality is what makes this group stand out.
That I like in this division, 154, is that you have Boots. You see his determination. Did you see it the other night? You saw his determination and will? Yeah. Virgil Ortiz, what does he have? That determination and that will?
And Virgil's a little twitchy, too, for a guy with power.
Yeah.
And aggression. And he got a lot of heart.
Fondora, the same thing, man. I feel like 54 is the best division in boxing.
I agree.
They have the hottest fights in boxing based upon just determination, will to win.
And the matchup.
Even so, Mikey Garcia gives Ortiz the edge against Ennis, arguing that his physical power could be the decisive advantage in the matchup. He also stresses that Ortiz is far more versatile and tactically sharp than critics often acknowledge. For Garcia, combining that power with a deeper skill set could make Ortiz a particularly difficult problem for Ennis to solve.
I think Virgil's power will be the difference. Boots has really good skills, can't deny that. Very, very talented fighter. But the power is very, very different. Once you're in the ring, he's strong, bro. You've seen him in his last few fights. And the power is just impressive. Boots gets caught with one or two of those shots and it's gonna hurt him. I don't think it's gonna be an easy fight though. I think Boots he's got the skills to be, very, very good and competitive and have some really good rounds, but I think Virgil's power will be the difference.
Even with those strengths, Kenny Ellis expects Ortiz to present a tougher challenge through his aggressive approach and willingness to engage. Even so, he still favors Ennis to eventually force a stoppage, believing Ortiz's tendency to come forward will create openings for Ennis to capitalize on. Ellis sees that pressure as a key factor that could ultimately work against Ortiz.
He got a right to his opinion, but I don't think he'll sleep Boots. I don't think he'll sleep Boots. Good fight, though.
Do you think he puts a better fight than Zayas?
I think he'll start faster, but get caught earlier. He got more. He
can stop faster.
He bring more pressure than Xander. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't know if he's gonna get stopped faster, but I think he'll get stopped. Boots don't have to look for him. He's gonna be right there for Boots. He don't know no other way but forward. You know what I'm saying? Boots are boxing until he catches him.
Coach Reg expects Ennis to secure a stoppage after gradually taking control of the fight. He believes Ortiz's forward approach could make the early exchanges competitive, but Ennis will eventually dictate the action and punish Ortiz for his aggression.
I think Boots knocks Virgil Ortiz out.
Brutally, or like just, stoppage?
Yeah, stoppage.
Systematic breakdown?
Oh, he definitely gonna break him down. He's definitely gonna break him down. No, he's gonna come forward. He won't press the action until he start getting hit back. Then it's gonna change the game. It's gonna change the game. But definitely like the first, I see Boots stopping probably around like round 7. Round 8.
Greg Hackett argues that an Ennis matchup could provide a clearer test of Ortiz against a younger elite opponent with the tools to challenge him. He questions the idea that Ortiz has no meaningful weaknesses, suggesting that certain aspects of his game could be tested under sustained pressure. That makes the matchup a valuable measure of how Ortiz handles a truly demanding opponent.
And then it would actually give us a chance to see how Virgil responds to fighting a big young dog. Now, here's the thing with Virgil. Virgil acting like he's a type of fighter without any flaws. Boachuk was whooping his bro, and people seem to forget that. Boachuk put him on the floor twice, bro. Boachuk really won that fight. Like, Virgil gotta stop. Virgil gotta stop acting like he's Stone Cold Steve Austin and shit. Like, we not on that, bro. Cool out.
Coach Bredman sees Ennis having the cleaner scoring tools in this matchup, particularly with the jab and straight punches. Ortiz, however, brings a fundamentally sound inside game with short hooks, uppercuts, and a tight defensive shell. That creates a clear tactical contrast, with Ennis looking to score at range while Ortiz becomes more effective in the pocket.
I think that Virgil is a little bit more talented than Fondora. I think Boots beat Virgil because he has a better jab and can kind of score too many points with his straight punches, and Virgil marks up. And Boots is he's constant with his attack. Virgil marks up, he swells up, he bleeds all over the place. I think that will play a factor in the fight. I think it will go longer, but I think that Virgil is very fundamentally sound in the mid-range and on the inside. And he doesn't drop his hands, he throws his punches right from where they're at, and he throws short, crisp hooks and uppercuts, and he's kind of even-handed.
Coach Bredman identifies the exchanges at close range as a potential problem for Ennis. He believes Ennis can leave openings when his punches become too wide, while Ortiz is more compact with his counters. If those two styles collide in the pocket, Bredman thinks Ortiz could capitalize on Ennis's mistakes with cleaner, harder shots.
And I think that in there, that Boots will have to be really, really sharp, because although Boots is more talented than me, to me, I think sometimes Boots right in those ranges, he drops his hands a little bit and kind of wings his shot sometimes. And Virgil is a little bit more tighter and shorter right there. I think that will be the one area that Boots will have to be careful with Virgil if they're exchanging. Like, let's say they're exchanging hooks and Boots throws one of his winging type of hooks and Virgil just sit on one, boom, and turn it right over. I think that will be right there, where Boots could possibly have some trouble. So I think that he will have to be more careful with Virgil.
Ortiz now has several paths ahead, with Fondora, Charlo, and Ennis, all representing major tests. But which matchup will ultimately define the next chapter of his career? Who do you want to see Ortiz face next? Drop your pick in the comments. And for more boxing breakdowns and fight analysis, like, subscribe, and stay tuned.